first thing that you must ensure when you train is your core position. It's called your core for a reason. Everything is based around that. And when your core is out of position, or your spine, hips, and rib cage are out of position via the core not working or being strong enough, that's when things can fall apart. So what I want to go through is really trying to show you where should your spinal position, hip position, rib cage position be, and that is using your core. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go down into what we call a quadruped position. That's on all fours, hands and knees here, okay? My hands are right beneath my shoulders, my knees are right beneath my hips. Okay, so there are two extremes for when we do movement. If we get into a super extended position where my back is really arched, so it's kind of like my belly button is dropped to the floor and my tailbone is popped out, that's called hyperextension, which is no good. That can give us issues with the hips and back. Or if we go into a hyperflex position, so the hips round up underneath us, the upper back rounds forward. We don't want that. So what we're going to try to do is use our core to find that middle ground. So not extended, not rounded, but neutral. So right there. So I want to feel that my abs are working to keep my hip and my rib cage in alignment. From there, what we can do is kind of work through what we'll call a bird dog. So I'm going to try to move my arm and my leg out as far as I can without letting my hip extend and my back arch, or not letting myself rotate open. So we're trying to keep our abs on, keep the hip and the rib cage, so I'm thinking about my rib cage and my hip glued together using my abs. Out, we're going to come back down, other side. Again, not letting that low back shift positions, especially arching out. Okay, so again, what we did there, we ended up finding our neutral position, and then we tried to maintain that neutral position while the arm and leg move. You're going to take that and use that for every single movement. So let's say it's our squat. So if you go through, again, when we squat, we don't want to hyperextend out. We also don't want to round up underneath ourselves. So we want to find a neutral position, boom, my abs are on, my hips and my rib cage are glued. It's almost like I'm pulling my zipper up towards my rib cage slightly to keep that position. And when I squat, my whole goal is to try to maintain that tight position in the core, squatting on down. Okay, so again, the bad would be if I popped out and I arched big time here, or if I go to squat and as I squat, my hips round up underneath me and my back rounds, right? So boom, abs are on tight, shift those hips back without losing that position, come from there. Okay. Again, every movement. So reverse lunge, let's say, abs are on, glued, keeping that position, so I'm not arching out, I'm also not rounding up underneath myself, right? So boom, stay nice and locked, get that nice solid position, and go to work. Last example, our push-up, which is a commonly kind of butchered exercise because of this core position. If we go into that exercise and we arch out, so if we come down and the back arches as we go down here, no good, right? So I want to keep the hips back, I want to keep that tuck, so I'm trying to think about my hips and my rib cage staying glued together, and then I'm going to work with that exercise. So again, the whole goal for us is to make sure that we keep this nice, solid, neutral position. We're not allowing ourselves to extend out. We also don't want to let ourselves round up underneath. And that's via the core to find that good core position. Get that first, every single exercise, and then use the movement up outside of that, okay? Number one with everything we do.